Swap on the track right here.
What's going on?
Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
Everyone.
You know,
Good to see you all.
it is Tuesday, but really it's Monday.
Uh-huh.
But really it's Tuesday for marriages on a Tuesday.
What?
Welcome
Hello,
everybody.
everybody.
Welcome to another episode of Marriage is Real with your wonderful host
Jamie.
and Damien. For those of you who are new to our channel, to our podcast, please go out and subscribe to Marriage is Real. We are really trying to increase our presence on social media, especially on YouTube. We're trying to go from 5 followers to 6. So anybody that is watching that has never been on here before, thank you guys for joining us. Please go out and support us on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and everything else.
All of that.
Yeah. So, how was your weekend?
It was great. How was yours?
It was great.
My weekend was very involved. I had a lot going on.
Yeah.
So
We got
your girl's still tired. I'm still trying to get it together.
We've been very busy. There's been a lot of stuff going on, but we plan on making the end of this year amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We plan on finishing 2022 strong.
Right. So this weekend we actually went and we did karaoke. That was my first time ever
Me
doing
too.
karaoke. It was
Me
actually
too.
it was really fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. I was hoarse, my throat was sore, everything, trying to sing so loud. But you know what? It gave me a newfound respect for entertainers.
Yes.
Because
appreciation.
That ain't easy
It's
to do.
not.
You look like, oh, I can do it. You get up there and
Yeah.
do that. No.
And what's funny is a good number of people that were there were 40 plus. So everybody, like, you think you like, that song only 4 minutes long. Let you try to get up, sing the song, dance, and do choreography all at the same time. In about a minute and a half or 2 minutes, Jokers was leaned all over and everything.
Especially the rappers, like they all of words and the verse. I mean, they just and the words come so fast. It's like, wow, okay. Yeah. I'm impressed by y'all.
Yeah, it's very easy to get tongue twisted, tongue tied.
Yes.
So I think we already got a comment. Let's see what they say.
Hello.
It's Julia. What's going on, Julia? Thank you for joining us. We
you?
appreciate you.
We're doing well.
Tapping in.
How are you doing,
Doing
ma'am?
great. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
On the Marriage is Real show.
The Marriage is Real
podcast, streaming live on Roku, BS3 Network. Salute to BS3 for giving us an opportunity to be on Roku TV.
Absolutely.
So we're streaming live right now on Roku as well. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. Let's get to it. Did I scare you?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Let's get to it.
So there has been a lot of breakthroughs and revelations and all types of things that have been going on within the Marriage is Real community. We're going to give y'all a little piece of that today because it is a work in progress.
Absolutely.
But what we're going to talk about tonight.
Hey, Ben.
What's up, Ben? Thank you for joining us tonight, brother.
Baddest founder in the
lane.
Yeah,
BS3 Network, the founder with us. Ben, the Ben Sutter.
The Ben Sutter.
Yeah. So it's a work in progress, but we're working through some things. And tonight, what we want to talk about is the marriage evolution.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a play on words, marriage revolution. I said, let me just take that R off. I'm gonna drop the R, and it's just gonna be the evolution.
Oh, I didn't even know it was a marriage revolution. I was today years old. You just told me something.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about the marriage revolution. I mean evolution, like I'm saying. We just want to just kind of have a heart to heart and just kind of talk about how things change and evolve within your marriage and how some of the things that you thought about and some of the ways that you felt about things for years, they can change. Absolutely. Because as excuse me, as we grow and we progress and we work on being better versions of ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and you're doing self work and you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to heal and trying to be whole and do all those things,
Mm-hmm.
you change.
Right.
Just like, we use an example all the time about how people that had children,
Mm-hmm.
you before you had children, you
Right.
had all
So
these
much to say.
lofty expectations
Right.
of what child. When I have a baby, my baby not gonna sleep in the bed
What
with
you
me.
gonna do? What you not gonna do?
You got to get up for work in a couple of hours,
Have one.
and then that baby be between y'all like a piece of bologna. So you have these things that you think, and these non-negotiables, and
Right.
and even a while ago we talked to a couple, and they were saying something about how we had this agreement that I don't wash dishes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, you didn't wash dishes year 1 through 3, but one day that person that's washing all those dishes might just be like, you know what?
I'm tired of
You
washing
ain't gonna
all
wash
these
no
dishes.
dishes. You're
So
not gonna.
So you really not gonna wash a dish
Right.
for the rest of our life.
Right. And so you really have to know and understand that you have to be flexible.
Sorry, house of
And so you have to be flexible in your marriage. So I just y'all know how I do. I just come up with some points and we just kind of start there and we just roll with it. So the first thing that I came up with about the evolution of your marriage, it's a play on words, another play on words. Wait on it. Like her, wait on it, wait on, like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, you know that song.
Really
so. So, wait on it. And what I mean by that is growth and development take time.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You mean WAIT?
Not healthy, not weight. Put your weight on it.
That's what I thought.
No, wait on
really,
it.
both of them. You do got to put your back into it when you're married. You really do. So I was like, okay, I'm trying to see where you're going with it. Okay, wait on it. Absolutely.
Wait. Okay.
And there's a lot of people that are not willing to wait.
Right.
And that's a lot of the issue in marriage, is that people feel like, oh, we've been married 1, 2, 3 years.
Ain't nothing happening.
Why is it like this?
Right.
Because it's been 1, 2, 3 years.
And let me ask, since you bring that up, let me ask you a question. How long should you wait?
As long as it takes.
Bam.
But the key to that though is knowing who you're married to.
Right.
That's the caveat. That's the piece. Like if you weren't sure about this person when you married them, then it's gonna be real hard to wait on anything because I was already looking upside your head before we said I do.
Right. That's good. That's good. And that's one of the core foundational principles of what we talk about in marriage is marrying the right person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We've talked to so many couples that have said they knew that they weren't supposed to marry the person that they married, and then turn around and then you seem flabbergasted by the way your life is turning out, when deep down inside, every day that you wake up, you knew you weren't supposed to marry that person.
Right.
You knew. You might have prayed and been like, God, can you show me if this is the person? Should I marry this person? Because one thing I always say is you have up to and until you say I do. That means 15 minutes, 15 seconds until you say I do. If you're not sure,
yes, man. If y'all ain't sure.
Yeah, if you're not sure, and there's a difference between the cold feet of making this grandiose decision and you knowing within yourself that you should marry that person. Those are two different things.
Right.
But the growth and development within the relationship take time. But when you're with the right person, it's like she said, is the caveat of it may take longer than, it takes as long as it takes.
Right.
There's we're part of different relationship Facebook groups and things, and we're like contributors, and we just chime in every once in a while. So in one of the groups that we're a part of, I posed a question to all of the people in the group. And I said, if you knew, number one, let's establish this. Number one, you knew you married the right person. You knew this is the person that you were supposed to be with. Predestined, if you believe in predestination, you the one, you my one, I'm your one, we the ones, right? And so I said, if you knew that you married that right person, but you didn't know, or no, I said if you knew you married the right person, but you knew that it was going to take 17 years for this person to change or become the person that you wanted them to be, while knowing that they're the right person, would you wait on it?
And see, the thing with that is it's not even waiting on just the person to be who you want them to be before your relationship to be everything you've ever wanted it to be. Like you're being loved the way you want it to be loved. You're giving love the way you want to give love. You're being desired. You guys are craving each other, like everything that you can think of this marriage being. Would you be willing to, if you knew without a shadow of a doubt,
without this gonna happen 17 years from today? Later. So what's 22 and 17? That's 39. So in 2039, 17 years.
Oh, okay.
Is that right?
2039,
yeah. I mean, brother math going right. Who's having me to say that, y'all? 2039, it's gonna be right with the right person. Would you wait on that person to develop? Would you wait on it, grow and develop? Do you know? Well, you know, but 100% of everybody said they wouldn't wait.
And see, this is the piece, because in everything, your first thought is to go negative, because he didn't say in those 17 years it was going to be chaos, horrible, and disaster. You know what I'm saying? It just was going to take 17 years to get it the way you want and desire it to be. Not to say there wasn't going to be some good and some downs and some ups. During that 17 years. But everybody in their mind is just like,
we default to the negative every time. No, I'm done.
But out of those 17, 70% of that was good.
It was good. Not its best, but good. Like we doing good. You know, it ain't a bad situation. And this is the thing. When I was flabbergasted. But this is my thing though, Jamie. At that point, what's your alternative? What do you do if you know you with the right person and you can't give enough time to develop with the right person? What would you do in that situation?
But the thing is, so if in 17 years I'm guaranteed to have this beautiful relationship, happy, prosperous, thriving, everything, I'm guaranteed. But I say, you know what? No, that's too long. And then you get to year 17, and where are you? Are you single? Are you by yourself? Are you miserable? Are you in another relationship that's even worse than the one that you got out of? But I knew at 17 I was guaranteed. But I would rather gamble and maybe it'll be all right, but maybe it may be worse. But most people are going to gamble because everybody wants to right now. Nobody wants to wait. There's no delayed gratification, like at all. And the thing about it with the marriage is we're ever evolving. We're an ever evolving species anyway. So you think about even in just being single, in singleness, you change regardless. We're going to change. The thing about it is if you are still living and you ain't changing, that's a problem. You cannot have any type of growth and not change. So the change ain't always bad, but everybody thinks, oh, they change and they change. No, because change could be in a good way. Growth, like I was telling them yesterday, when your kids start to grow, the size of their clothes change. So with growth comes change. What's wrong with that? But nobody wants to wait on it because everybody defaults to the negative. If I have to wait 17 years, then but why? But what's wrong with that? Because this is the thing. Like we talk about, what's that movie we be watching? What's the movie we watched? Dang it, with the Wolf of Wall Street. We talk about this all the time. Like you go from, or even not just that movie, but people, you go from one relationship to the next, thinking the grass is greener, and you trying to get this person to be this way, and you trying to, oh, well, this was this and this was that. But you do recognize anywhere you go in any relationship, you coming up against that again.
Because you the same person.
You the same, but the relationship, the fundamentals of a relationship don't change. You're going to have to talk to a woman. You're going to have sex with a man. You're going to have to compromise. You're going to have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You're going to have to be vulnerable. All of the things.
If you want to be successful.
It's still going to be the same in any relationship that you are in. So it's like you just running and hopping and skipping from this to this to that. but you're still coming up against the same thing again.
That's good. And we got some of these comments here. Ben said, change is going to happen. It's inevitable.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And
your body changes, your head changes, your hair changes, everything.
Man, but it should. Do you want to, what if I was the same person that I was when we met and you were you?
Now?
Yeah. That can't even work.
Check your phone too, because we got a Facebook user. It says Facebook user, but I don't know who it is. Johnny said, No,
I'm good.
Okay, so I don't know who the Facebook user. Can you tell us your name, because it's not telling us who you are? It says, good evening, everyone. That's a very good point. And then they said, everyone is looking for that microwave love instead of taking the time to make something special.
That's really
everything that comes. So a microwave is really was created to reheat things.
Right.
You're not putting you're not frying no chicken in no microwave.
So many people trying to do it.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's such a good point. It just, things worth something take time.
Right.
You
and
know,
if you think about that, like he said, the microwave, that's a good analogy because what you said, it's used to heat up something. So, but if you're using it in its proper place, like the food is already cooked, it's already good. I'm just trying to nuke it a little bit just to give it a little warmth, a little heat. But people are trying to cook the whole chicken in the microwave. It might cook, but it's gonna be disgusting. And that's what people are trying to do with their relationship. Right. You can use the microwave,
and it's disgusting. Your relationship is disgusting. No, I'm teasing.
But if you use you can use the microwave to spice up some things. You know what I'm saying, like that. But don't try to use that same logic and principle to create and make it something.
And here's the thing: we have a microwave, but now because we like the way things go when it takes a little more time. Even our kids now, we pretty much warm everything up in the oven.
We take it old school country.
We turn on the oven and warm it up, and it's just better. It's just better that way.
If you want your chicken to re-crunch, 350 in the oven. You're gonna get that crunch back.
And then you think, and then think about the law of 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
The law of 10,000 hours, which is what do they call it?
Says you're an expert.
That's the expert. The law of 10,000 hours said that it takes 10,000 hours or 10 years, the equivalent of 10 years, to become an expert at something. So if you've been in your marriage 3 years, you ain't put your time in yet, player.
Not yet.
Your time is not there yet. And it's just going to take revisit at 10,000 hours and see where you are.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I think too, so many people don't count up the cost of what it takes to be married. I think it's almost like a trendy thing now. Folks just want to be married. Oh, I want to be married. I want to find me somebody. But you don't know if you really knew what it takes to be married. But the beauty of it is marriage done right is amazing. Like doing life with someone is so much better. I'm speaking for me, than having to try to do this alone. And I know everybody's not going to be married. And I know that some people are happy in their singleness, and I'm not taking nothing away from that. But the saying, two heads are better than one, you know, having someone to help you have your back, and you can have that being single too. But I mean, just in the cohesiveness of a relationship, of a partner, of a spouse, there's so much beauty in that. You don't realize how much you grow as a person until you're in this type of relationship, a marriage relationship. If you don't grow, if you're not growing in that marriage, then it's a problem. And you might be the problem if you're having some issues in the marriage, because then it's almost like being a parent. Being a parent will grow you up so fast because you don't have a choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to parent this child now, and these babies having babies, you can't even enjoy being the baby no more, because now you have to take on adult responsibilities to take care of this child. So when you get married, you can't enjoy just being independent like that no more. You have to now take on the responsibility of being a unit, interdependence. And that's the key to everything. And that, like I said, there are so many fundamentals to marriage, like in the game of basketball, in the game of football, or whatever. Everybody has their way of doing it, because we always say, do what works for you. But even in you doing y'all and doing you and doing it the way you want to do it, there are still fundamentals to the game. And if you don't play the game right, you fouled out or you're not making the shots, it's nothing is happening. So you have to do it according to the rules and the regulations. But you can put your own little stank on it. You can put your funk on it. You know what I'm saying? But there are still fundamentals to it. One of the biggest ones is the communication piece. And because men and women are so different, as we're evolving and as we're changing, as we're talking about marriage is ever evolving, so are men and women. And before, you used to be able, a man, maybe you were able to talk over this woman and because she didn't know yet. You know what I'm saying? But even while we're being married to one another, we're growing up, especially people that got married younger, like in their 20s. You're growing up. So that same stuff and that same logic you used to try to use on me, no, player. That don't, what you're saying don't make sense no more. You know what I'm saying? And people don't necessarily have a problem with you changing. They have a problem with the change they're going to have to make because of your change. Mm-hmm. So just recognizing that in a relationship, people want to say, "Oh, she changed, you know, he different, or he whatever." But both of y'all are, and both of y'all should be. So the key to the secret sauce is figuring out how we're gonna grow up together. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And don't get so caught up in, "Oh, I'm doing me," and I, you know. And this is what I'll say: a lot of times, people in relationships, when you've been together for some time, one of the other people may start to feel like, "Oh, I can do better than this. I can do better than you," or "I can do better than her," because you feel like now you've arrived and you've gotten some things, and you know what I'm saying? But the key principle to that is that other person, whoever you feel like you can do better with, is that other person going to love you and treat you and desire you like this person you have? Because yeah, you can go find somebody else. Absolutely. It's always a bigger booty. It's always a better person. It's always a bigger chest, all of that. But is this relationship going to be the way that this relationship is? Because that's another person on the other side of that dynamic. If that makes sense.
That's good. And then, and to that point, sometimes when you've arrived is only because that person helped you. You arrived because your husband was working while you was building your business.
And how quickly we forget.
Right. Y'all. We totally negate and think that you did this on your own, where that man may have been the force behind you, making sure all the bills were paid. Mm-hmm. And even when your business wasn't in the black, he was funding your business until your business became profitable.
Right.
Or you have a business, but you're not making no money, but you have a business.
Right.
So you got to put things in the right, put them in the right context and the right perspective. And then I want to hit on something else real quick about this. In taking time, one thing that we're doing when we're waiting on it is we're unlearning so many things from our past.
Y'all, so many.
There could be trauma in your life. There could be things that happened to you when you were young. There could be things that the way your parents did things. And so I came up with this analogy. Think about if you give a person a shovel and they start digging a hole, and for 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, 7 days a week, they're digging this hole. Mm. You're not in the picture right now. They've been digging this hole, and let's say you meet your significant other at age 20. Mm-hmm. They've been digging a hole for 20 years. Mm. All of this trauma and all this stuff that they haven't worked through, that they haven't healed from, that they haven't gotten help with. Right. So now, how deep of a hole do you think that you could build one shoveling at a time? Mm-hmm. By the time you get down to year 20, you're completely in the dark.
Right.
You can't even see the sun anymore. Right. Because you've dug down so deep. Right. So if it took them if they've been exposed and dealing with those things for 20 years, do you think by being with you for 2 years that's gonna fix everything?
Right.
You are sadly mistaken.
Right.
Because it's also like a ball of a shoestring that's got a whole bunch of knots in it. Mm-hmm. It just takes time to unravel this stuff.
Right.
So that's the mindset that you have to have when you are going through this process and when you're waiting for your significant other or your partner to evolve. Let's
Right.
let's hit a couple of these comments real quick.
Okay.
Earl and Nicole, what's going on?
Hey,
Thank you for
y'all.
joining us tonight.
Good to see you.
And then Julia said, marriage is work, commitment, communication, and if God's not in it, it's almost impossible. You have to have compassion, understanding, respect, trust, all of that, and it doesn't happen overnight. Rome was not built in a day.
Absolutely.
That's 100% true.
Absolutely. And then I'll say, just kind of circling back to what you were saying about, like, when I mentioned people think they can do better than the other, and you said like this man helped fund this woman business and all this. On the flip side of that, there are a lot of women who hold a man down too.
Right.
Why they doing trying to go build a trucking business or try
That's
to,
real.
you know, they maybe want to go.
It may not be
have
the
a
financial
music
piece.
career, but no, they may have held them down. Like I kept working so that you can go out here
that's true.
and try to realize your dream.
Mm-hmm.
So I held it down. I kept the, you know,
you went to the corporate job.
Right. I went to the corporate job. I made sure we had benefits and did all of the stuff so that you could go to school for 2 years, 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's a switch off, because we did that before when we were younger. I went to school, I went to work, and he went to school, and then vice versa. But when you're a team like that, you're supposed to tag team and be able to do that, but not forgetting when you get there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now that's not good enough.
Right. And then don't forget also that if they're be happy that this person that helped you get to where you are, don't start trying to put your agenda onto them.
Right.
If this person is happy working as a manager at Target, don't tell him he ain't good enough or you need to do better.
Be doing more, because you done started a little business.
Right.
Now it's time for him to be doing more.
And if he's happy and he's doing well and it's working, leave him alone. Leave her alone.
Right.
You know, you people, we just get so we get so high-minded about ourselves.
That's
you
so
know
real.
what I'm saying?
That's so real. And then, you know what, you said something about the shoestring and people digging this hole, and you know, so when you saying that, of course people are going to say, okay, that's why you need to get with somebody who's healed. That's why you need to get with somebody who's whole, and you know, woo woo. Mm-hmm. The thing about that is, a lot of times the person who's been digging this hole, they may not even realize
that's what I was gonna say,
that they've been digging this hole.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean that because they have these traumas and they have these past hurts and pains that they're not a whole person. But there are cracks and leaks, mm-hmm. and some things can seep out, and marriage is supposed to be a form of healing for both parties, because in the areas where I have cracks and leaks, I may not have even realized that, and me being attached to this person, because your spirit, I'm saying spirit, something in you is going to be drawn to this person. And there's a reason why you're drawn to this person that you even wanted to marry, because they possess something that you didn't have, which can help to seal up the leaks and the cracks that you have, even as a whole person. Mm-hmm. So when people say, oh, don't be getting with nobody if you ain't whole and you ain't healed, and some of the stuff you don't even realize that you're not whole and healed from out, because you can't be better outside of other people. You can't work on you outside of other relationships and other dynamics, because if I'm sitting in the house saying, oh, I'm good, I'm better now, oh, I got it together. How do you know outside of others? Because what you thinking, and then you go and you hang out with somebody and they're like, oh, your attitude is horrible. But you don't know that, because you're reading your own press, you're writing your own story and telling yourself that you're good. So, you know, just take that stuff into consideration as well. And with marriage, there's so much responsibility for both parties. And I think that the empathy piece is really, really missing in our relationships today. Like, it's easy, and everybody's looking for something on paper, how we can add up on paper. Oh, he got a degree, I got a degree. Oh, his parents is this, my parents is this. Oh, he drive this car, I drive this car. He make 85,000, I make 82,000, or whatever. So on paper, we match. But anybody can look like a man on paper, but is he a man on land? Like, you can have all this stuff, you can have all of these things and look really good, but what is your heart like? Will you love me? Will you care for me? Are you kind? Can I trust you? Can I depend on you? So it don't matter about you you have a degree and you make $85,000, or let me say $100,000, you know, because they talk about this high value mess, and I'm saying that's mess because high value is not a dollar figure. High value is the person, the character, the soul of a person. That ain't just a man, that's a person. I'm looking for high value people, even when there's just friendships and people that I'm want to be connected to, and you find your tribe. I'm looking for high value people, high minded people. What's your frequency like? We ain't with the low energy, what they say, low vibrationals. You know what I'm saying? Are you always negative? Because there's a lot of people, y'all, that are so influential and they seem to have all the stuff, but they don't have an impact. They don't, their character is just so not right. And you done led all these people and you done influenced all these people. But when the ish hit the fan, they will leave you high and dry. And y'all done followed this person all the way to this door, and he done got to the door he wanted to on y'all's heels. And then
on y'all dollars.
And close the door behind you. But close the door behind him, and everybody looking at the door like, well, what we do now? They don't care. So you got to be mindful of who you are choosing to be connected to. Because the thing about it is, like, I heard it said that love is something that we have and desire is something that we want. You want to be desired, but a lot of people, for me personally, I want to be able to know that I give love. I can make a person feel loved and make a person feel important. It ain't just about, you know, ooh, how they made me feel, and you gotta do, you know what I'm saying? So you want to make sure that you are connecting with someone who can be that way, because the character is, what do you do when no one is watching? How do you treat other people? Like, that matters, because I'm looking at it like, if you don't treat your mama nice and your daughter, you know, man, who am I in comparison to those women in your life? You know what I'm saying?
You the new one.
Right. It's like what's that the song you say, what's so different? Those people are supposed to be special to you. And if you talking to me, if I meet you and you talking to me bad about your mama and your sister and the women in your life, what they talk with the red flags? Ooh, red flag. You know what I'm saying? So I digress, but that character piece is absolutely vital.
Goss is joining us. What's up, bro?
Alex, I don't never call you Alex. Hey, Goss.
Thanks for joining us tonight, man.
Let me check my thing over here.
You got a thing in the comments?
No, we good.
Okay. So I got some points. We moving along pretty good though. So the next thing I want to talk about, and I don't even know if we're gonna get past this one, but own it.
OWN.
OWN.
I have to spell what you're saying, because I'm like, oh, you own it? Oh, you own it, or do you own it?
I said own.
OWN. They sound the same. Yeah.
Own it.
Don't nobody say on. Are you on it?
Own. Like you own stuff. You owning stuff.
Okay.
And when I say own it, I mean accountability.
Ooh-wee.
As you evolve within your relationship, you should be evolving in your accountability. Accountability is such an important piece to your relationship.
I'm covering my face because that was hard for you, girl. Oh, Lord.
And here's the thing. Yes, you did it. You did it. Whatever they said that you did, you probably did it. When you know that the person, and we always have to preface it with this, when the person on the other side of the dynamic has goodwill towards you, they want to see you win. They want to see you win. They want to see you prosper and be your best self. You did it. You probably did what they said that you don't do. So you have to, sometimes it takes time to hear, and it could take years.
But see, this is the thing. You listen with your emotions, you hear with your ears. So are you hearing it, but not listening? That's the piece. That's what happens a lot of times. Like, I hear you. Oh, yeah, I hear you.
Like, you literally hear the words.
Like, absolutely.
But yeah, that's true. And so you got to be able to take accountability in your relationship. That if that person is really wanting to see what's best for you in your life, the stuff that they're telling you is because they want you to be a better version of yourself.
Right, absolutely. And I was covering my face because that accountability piece. And see, the part of accountability, really with the ice, part of the accountability is the vulnerability piece, because
talk about that.
Those two things can really live in the same house. Because for you to own something, OWN, and be accountable for something, a lot of times it takes a level of vulnerability to say, yes, I was wrong. Oh, yeah, I did that. I'm sorry. I'm going to work on that. I shouldn't be doing this. I should have been better in this. Woo, woo, woo. But that takes a level of vulnerability. But you can't have any type of intimacy in any relationship without vulnerability. It's not going to happen. You can have a very surface level relationship, but if you're trying to go deeper and y'all want to be closer and you want to continue to grow and build, the vulnerability piece has to be there. And when you are having to take account and be accountable for something that you have done, or you've wronged this person, you betrayed this person, or sometimes it's embarrassing. A lot of times it's embarrassing. It's hard for a person to say that they were wrong. That's pride. That's ego. All of that stuff can live in the same family of vulnerability. Because if I drop my pride and I drop my ego, it's leaving me in a vulnerable place. If I hold myself accountable for this thing, it's like, I'm really kind of putting myself in a vulnerable place. And people feel like vulnerability is weakness. And do you understand you have to have so much strength to walk in and lean into vulnerability? And that's the piece that Jamie was missing, because I'm like, ain't nobody, I'm gonna do that. I ain't weak like that. I'm and you touting this, oh, I'm a strong person, I'm a boss, I'm independent, that don't even matter to me, and woo woo. But the reality of it is if you can't walk in vulnerability, you probably ain't as strong as what you think you are. And the key piece to that is making sure that and the other person on the side of this vulnerability can be trusted with your heart. It has to be a safe place, because you can't everybody don't earn your vulnerable places. Everybody hasn't earned your vulnerable moments. Sometimes, and I don't know who I was talking. I was talking to my friend about this today. Sometimes vulnerability is so hard in marriage because of the past hurts and pains that you guys have had before. There could be resentment, there's contempt, there's all of these things there. And you'll tell your mama, you'll be vulnerable with your mama, you'll be vulnerable with your daddy, your best friend. You'll go into the god doggone beauty salon and be vulnerable with your stylist and other patrons that you don't even know. And you're not going to tell your husband. And vice versa. I'm sure men in the barbershop talk about stuff, not to the extent of what women talk about. No, but I'm just saying they might say something like, man, this woman, she been tripping. All I be asking her to do is this, 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 this. See, that could be vulnerability for him if he's saying that to her. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want you to think I'm weak. I'm good. I ain't going to ask you for nothing. See, that's not going to work, y'all. But to your point, the accountability piece, if you can't take account for what you've done, and then also not just you being accountable for taking account of what you done, of what you did, but even in the way that you present, the way that you want the other person to take account and be accountable for the things that they did as well. That's extremely important. And I think that's the missing key. And like I mentioned, as I said earlier about the empathy piece, if you just put yourself as much as we can, because I know we are of the opposite sex, put yourself on the other side of that. What is it like to be this man, to have to get up and, support this family every day? What is it like to be him, to have to pay the bills and have to treat me a certain type of way according to what the word says about how to treat a wife? And, would I want to be married to me? Do you ask those type of questions? What is it like to be this wife who got to take care of our kids? She's, sacrificing and trying to be accommodating to me in all of these things. She's supposed to be submissive. the dreaded
It's a
S word.
buzzword right now.
Yeah, she's supposed to be submissive and she's supposed to fall in line and do these things that I'm asking her to do. What is that like on the other side for her? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you consider how the other person feels in the whole situation?
Because marriage is one of the most, it should be the most selfless relationship you'll
I
ever
was
be
just
in.
finna go ahead because I gotta find it. I had wrote something down. I took some notes.
I'll hit these comments while you're doing
Go
that.
ahead, do that because I was trying to find it. What is it?
Facebook user, money cannot
Hey.
buy trust, faithfulness, love, or respect. Hold on, Facebook user. I'm gonna hit Julius real quick. I even hear some people having problems when they make more money than their spouses, and I always said that they should sit down and balance all together and not act like they are better than their spouses because they make more. You're right, Julia. Check this out. You hear the that's why we always say you have to make sure that you create the culture of your own house and your own four walls. Because one of the things that you have to do is be able to be the thing that your spouse needs you to be. You hear it said that if you want a successful man, you're gonna have a busy man. And one of these relationship gurus is telling people, and he probably has some, I've heard some things that he said and he's made some good points, but he said if you're going to have a successful man, you're going to have a busy man, and then he's not going to be able to be emotionally available to you. What woman wants to hear that their husband is not going to be emotionally available to her? And see, the thing we have to do,
core need.
The thing we have to do as men is we have to temper and we have to try our best to find balance within our marriage relationship, because as men, we think we've arrived and we've made it when we reach a certain dollar figure. Oh, I'm a millionaire now. I've made $10 million. I made all this money. But when you look behind you, is there a desolate wasteland of things that you have laid waste to, up to and including your family and your children, for the cost that you paid in order to reach this financial status?
Right.
You think because you make a lot of money that you've made it, and what's the point of that if you don't have anybody to share that with? I've said this before, I'm gonna say it again. Jeff Bezos, billionaire. Dr. Dre, billionaire. We can go down the line, all these people. And one thing you will hear is that a lot of the successful people, they overly work. And what you do is you work your wife out of your relationship. Now you have arrived in the financial sense, but now
who you got to share with?
Who do you have to share with? So as men, we have to understand and know this woman didn't get with you because of your money. Because if you got a real one, she was gonna be there with you when you didn't have anything. So now that we have stuff, you're trying to tell me I can't be there for you?
Right.
What kind of exchange is that?
Right.
It's not a good exchange.
No. Like I said, especially when that's a core need for a woman,
right,
for you to be emotionally available.
Right.
That's a sense of security, not just in finance, but
and ladies, security. That's not acceptable. You shouldn't accept that a man can tell you that I'm busy.
Right.
I can't be emotionally available to you.
So you're not a priority, basically.
Exactly.
That's what you're telling me.
That's exactly what you're saying. To you. No, that's not acceptable.
Right.
You're not going to be in a sustainable, long-lasting relationship if it's okay for you not to be emotionally available for your wife. That just ain't gonna work.
I don't even understand how that.
And here's the thing. If it's okay and you get on that program, if you get on that program, if that's what your man touts, you got a problem.
Oh, and you're saying, and she gets on the program.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If that becomes okay, it'll be okay.
Oh, yeah. That's true. So this is what I was going to read. It was a scripture that I, not to be too deep on y'all, but it says, do nothing from selfish or empty conceit with a motive, but do everything with an attitude of humility. Don't be arrogant or self-righteous. Regard the other as more important than yourself. If you can do that,
That's all you
then
need to do.
everybody taken care of. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? And then there was another thing that I was thinking about too. If you're in a relationship and the other person doesn't hold you accountable, it may be because they don't even respect you enough to hold you accountable, because they know that you're not gonna do nothing different anyway.
Oh, Jesus.
They be like, I ain't gonna even say nothing. Because how many people do we know, y'all,
Oh, yeah.
that we know I ain't finna say nothing because I ain't gonna do nothing no different no way. They gonna do what they want to do.
They
how
gonna
they want
talk.
to do it.
They gonna fuss. They gonna cry. Pitch a fit.
Yeah.
And then you still gonna go make me a sandwich.
They ain't gonna do nothing no different. So if you are in a relationship and the other person ain't holding you accountable for nothing, but you know you be doing some stuff, it may be because they have a low expectation of you. They don't even I ain't gonna waste my time because I already know, what that's gonna be. So
That's
anywho,
good.
what was I gonna say? It was something I was
Let me
reading
get
through
these
these notes.
comments.
Go ahead.
Facebook user.
I think she said Denise something. Where it go?
You have to
Okay.
know your self-worth. Denise Scott. Is that a quote from Denise Scott, or is your name Denise
I
Scott?
think she said her name is Denise Scott.
Oh, thank you for joining us, Denise Scott. What's going on, Isia?
Hey, Sia, how are you?
She said, I'm listening, y'all. And that last point y'all just said, punch.
Punch.
Fist.
What we saying, girl? They ain't gotta be forgetting what we saying.
So, are we moving? Did you find it, or are we going to the next point?
I will say this.
Okay, go ahead.
This is the thing. The quality of life depends on the quality of your relationships, because relationships give you meaning and connection. So
money don't give you meaning and connection?
No, man.
Okay.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
The quality.
Repeat that one more time.
The quality of life depends on the
quality of life depends on the quality
of your relationships.
Okay.
Because those relationships
Mm-hmm.
give you meaning and connection.
Do y'all know how many people have money that are wealthy that are miserable? That commit suicide, that are unhappy. They just wish, you say you think you want this, you say you want this, but you don't understand what comes along with this.
Right.
And it's sad.
And see, that's the thing. We are creatures of meaning. That's one of the things that we want is acceptance and identity. And those are things that you want to feel important to someone else. And you want someone else to feel important, vice versa. That's what life is. You think about it. Even outside of a marriage relationship or a romantic relationship, everybody want a friend. Even if it's your mama, there is a relationship that you have, or some relationships where you want to feel important to someone. Meaning, you have to have meaning in this life, because without meaning in our lives, y'all, what is it? And a lot of the times, it's the quality of our relationships. Why do you think that it was said that it is not good for man to be alone? Because why do you think they put people in solitary confinement as a punishment? Because you need other people there. We need somebody on the other side of that dynamic.
Yeah.
Remember the movie? What was the movie with Tom Hanks in the volleyball?
Castaway.
He was about to lose it. He had to create a something from a volleyball just to stay sane, y'all. Just to feel like he had some type of connection. Think about it.
Yeah.
We have to have.
And he had a nervous breakdown when he lost Wilson.
Y'all remember it? Everybody remember that scene in the movie? He was just screaming to Wilson. Like, he was great. He done named the volleyball, put a face and some hair. Come on, man. But that's real stuff. Oh, go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay, let me read these comments and see if he got a song here. She said, the point about a husband can't expect to have a sustainable relationship if he is not emotionally available.
Okay. She said that was the point that she did the punch.
Oh, okay.
Right. The absolute girl, sis, it's not gonna work.
She said that's called relational laziness.
Right. Absolutely. And that's you telling me that I'm not a priority. Thanks. Right. Thanks for letting me know.
And then I'll also say this too. Sometimes it could be relational laziness, or it could just be ignorance. But because this is the thing, depending on how you were brought up in your situation and what ideology that you subscribe to, as a man, if a man that's in your life as a man that you respect has told you and taught you this is what manhood looks like, and this is how we are, this is how we perform, this is what we do,
right?
Then I'm checking off all the boxes in my man book.
And that's a very valid point. However, at the point that she has told you, now you can continue to walk in that ignorance if you want to, but you cannot say now that I haven't tried to hold you accountable, and you haven't taken accountability for how I feel.
Right.
So now you're continuing to tell me that I'm not a priority.
Right.
So, because you're not married to your mama. I don't care what your daddy said. You know what I'm saying?
But that's the point. If that conversation has been had.
Right. That's what I'm saying. At the point that the conversation has been had.
Because if you're not communicating.
That's peace.
If you're not communicating and you think that he should just know this. He don't know. I don't know. We don't know. They don't know. If you haven't, and then again, we say this all the time, you cannot hold someone accountable for something that you have not clearly communicated to them.
Yep.
They don't know. Don't expect or think that someone knows that.
That's very true.
But at the point that you've had that conversation, and that woman has been vulnerable and told you what she said, at that point, now you're being relationally lazy.
Own it. OWN.
Own it.
Yeah.
Own it. And then she said, wait a minute. She said, or emotional unintelligence.
Yeah.
And then she said, yes, bro.
That's it.
That's it. And then she said, but if it ain't working, then you have to do something else.
Absolutely.
That's a great.
That's the piece. Like,
yeah,
people
that's
just
good.
That's insanity. Remember, to keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
Right.
That's what they call insane.
She said, yes, sis. And then she said, no, he can't just know it. Communication is key.
Yep.
She said, but y'all know me. I will let you know.
Right. My kindred spirit right there. Shoot.
So, and I guess we'll just try to get a little bit in this next point. In the time that you're evolving in your relationship, one thing you have to do is you have to seek to understand. You have to seek to understand, not just listen. You have to seek to understand.
No, not just hear. You got to listen, not just hear.
Okay.
But that goes back to the empathy piece. Seeking to understand, that could fall under the umbrella of empathy, because if you're seeking to understand, try to think about it from another person's perspective, as hard as it is. Because even like we think about, racism and all of these things, and the thing that we say is they just don't get it. They just don't get it because they don't put themselves on the other side of a thing.
They don't seek to understand.
They don't seek to understand. Absolutely. And as a parent, how many times, y'all, when we were younger, our parents didn't want to understand. They didn't care.
They still don't understand.
Be quiet. Stay in a child's place. I don't care what you got. You're a kid. Because guess what? Somebody did them like that. And so for me, I've always said I want to make sure that I seek to understand how they feel from a child's perspective. I don't want to just be the parent. And I hear people all the time say, I ain't your friend. But why? I want to be a friend. I want to be my kid's friend. I'm not saying that you're going to be disrespectful, but I want us to have that same relationship that you feel like you would have with a friend. Because if you don't see me as a friend and you see me just as an authority figure, then I don't get what they get. So I don't really.
What?
Vulnerability. So there's a lot of things that we didn't think about, what your parents didn't know. For those of you that, your parents had that whole I ain't your friend type, and you didn't really share. You didn't really talk to your parents because they taught you how to treat them. She don't care. She don't know nothing about nothing that's going on with me. So you went out there. If this person is not a friend in your marriage, you go out there and you get all of this miscommunication that is not fitting to anything in your life. And then you try to come back in and
apply
use
that
on this person. That ain't
work.
Why you just didn't ask him?
Right.
Why you just didn't ask me?
Right.
Don't tell me about Mary Sue kids. I'm not Mary Sue kid. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing what Mary Sue kids is doing. So why you trying to treat me like Mary Sue kids? And it's the same thing you do in a marriage. We hear all this stuff about, men is this and men is that, and women is this and women is that. But what about your woman? And what about your man? Are they like that? And that's why we was talking about this the other day, and I was saying, Most of the people who have the loudest voices and who have the biggest platforms, they say, oh, women are like this and women. No, those women.
Mm-hmm.
Because the women that are like me and women, I'm not gonna even say real women, I'm gonna say women, because you got, like you say, man and male, you got women and females.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff that you're hearing nowadays, that's female talk. That ain't women.
That's good.
Because women, the stuff they saying, that's not how we operate. That's not how we think. Just like when y'all did the man talk thing. If y'all ain't seen it, y'all should go check that out. It's really good. There's a way that a man is. Not a male, not just because you have a penis. Are you a man? And there shouldn't have to be an identifier that it's a real man. Because it should just be a man. You know what I'm saying? And women walking in our feminine energy and leaning into our vulnerabilities. But because of everything that's been said these days, we like this. No, I bet not me. Not he ain't gonna do me like that, because I'm gonna have my own. Oh, I'm independent. Because now we've been taught that they don't want to be men. They don't want to treat us like women. They want to treat us like what they hear the females saying, who out here having sex with 70 and 80 men by the time they 30 years old.
I heard this.
Come on now.
This lady, she said, no, I'm just saying what they said. She said she's been with over 2,000. See,
that's something. And I don't know that lady.
And it saddens me.
It really does. It really does, because that's a one-off situation. That's an exception. That is not the rule. Because most women, I can't even imagine that. I can't. That's a whole lot.
Because you even told me that women will lie to their doctors about their body count.
Oh God, I did it. I only had like 2 or 3 at the time, but I was like, I don't want him to think I'm fast. You know what I'm saying? When you start going to the doctor when you're young, I don't want him to think I'm fast. So if they say how many sexual partners, I'm just put 1. Because I'm like,
but if you picking your number, why you just ain't say none?
Because they gonna check you down there. They can tell if you've been active. Oh. So I'm like, I can't lie, because I know he gonna know. And then what if I'm pregnant and I say I got 0? Somebody lied. So anyway, I digress. But yeah, go ahead, baby. You just gonna make a point to wrap it up.
But yeah, because we had about 58 minutes. I guess we'll put a pin in this and we'll come back to it, because we only hit like 1.5 points. Yeah, 2 points. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions? We got a heart.
Thank you guys for the heart.
It was a point that I was about to make about something that you said. Oh, this is what I was going to say is what I think is going on right now is that by design, the powers that be want us to feel like we don't need each other.
Right.
Like we don't need each other. Like a man don't need a woman and a woman don't need a man. But if for no other reason we need each other, we need each other to procreate. If for no other reason, yeah, you can have a baby on your own. You can do that, but you need each other. Right. Because what I have, I can't make no baby by myself.
Right.
And what you have, you can't make no baby.
Right.
And that was by design.
Right.
And if I can keep y'all at each other's throats and keep y'all divisive, and y'all can't come together as a people, I got you right where I want you.
Right.
Because connectedness and cohesiveness is what really begins to produce change.
Right.
Because what it could be about is our children.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Because having a mother and a father matters.
Yes, it does.
You know, not talking negatively or down about anybody, but having both perspectives and raising both boys and girls, it makes a difference.
And the male and female energy.
Yeah, it makes a difference, because I don't know what I would do if I did not have this woman when it came to raising our daughter. I just don't understand most of the time. Like, here I am, a 40-some-year-old man. I'm like, baby, if I say this to her, what's she gonna?
Is it gonna hurt her feelings?
What's it gonna happen? Because the other day, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna wrap it up. The other day, our daughter is learning how to drive, and so I was like, I didn't even tell her. I just pulled over and I said, I'm gonna let you drive. And so I picked her up from school. She got out of school. So we driving. She driving, and she's doing pretty well, but she wasn't doing like she normally does. And I could tell she was flustered or frustrated or something like that. And by the time, I give her a report card when she get home on how she did. Next thing I know, she was crying. And I was like, my heart just shrunk. I was like, what did I was like, I said, was I mean to you? I said, was I unkind? Did I do or say something that made you feel that you needed to cry right now? And so I had to go ahead. I had no idea. She said, no, Dad, it's just me. And so I went and told her, and she was like, oh, that's just this. She fine. Don't worry about it. I'm like, no, I'm worried because I think I done hurt my baby because I don't like to see her cry. And this is exactly how she reacted when I told her about it too.
So I knew as soon as he said that, I said, it's something way more than it ain't even about the driving. That's the piece. It ain't even about the drive. Let me go see what happened at school today.
I didn't even know to ask that question. I've never gotten behind the wheel of the car and just started crying. I've never done that. So I'm like, ooh, was I rough? Because I was like, baby, it's a truck coming. You have to speed up a little bit. I didn't raise my voice, so I don't want to scare her. But it was just like you ain't driving at your maximum potential right now.
Oh my God. And vice versa. He did that with our son. We have a son. So the stuff that he used to be going through, I used to be like, what's wrong with him? And then be like, oh, he just, he's upset when he was younger because his friends got taller and he didn't. I would have never thought that. I'm just like, why is he acting like that? What's the problem?
And when you find out you ain't the fastest boy in your class, that's traumatic. That's a traumatic feeling to know
all of this competition.
Yeah.
See, that's not how our minds work. So I'm just kind of like, what is the problem?
Yep.
So it really helps to have both of those dynamics and both of those
perspectives. And that's just in little stuff, but
right.
You need it. Kids need it.
Absolutely.
They really do.
Absolutely. So just know, y'all, that marriage is a distribution of power. It's a shared leadership. And I don't want people, and that's why I think so many people are, like down in marriage. It's negative now because they think one person gonna dominate the other, and that's not what it is at all. So just make sure you get with somebody who understands that this is a distribution of power and this is a shared leadership as we do this under God. You know what I'm saying? And it's supposed to be beautiful.
Right.
So,
and in that shared leadership and distribution of power, there is still a hierarchy.
Absolutely. Yeah, we know that. I mean, that.
Everybody don't know that though.
But anyway. See, he tried to put that on. See, this is Marriage Real. See, he could just left it with
No, I'm saying we could have somebody listening that don't know that.
And even if they don't, it's still shared. So anyway, y'all. That's for another video.
Yeah, that's for another video.
But so y'all be blessed. If we have no questions, we have a few more comments.
Sid said, I commend you all for asking each other for help.
Absolutely.
I'm not trying to have my little girl mad at me. So.
And I know I can't teach a young man how to be a man. I can't give you something that I don't. When things were happening with his body, I can't ask your dad. I can't help you. Because even like our nephews and stuff, they'll call and ask him if there's not a dad around. Because we're women, we don't know. If my daughter has something going on with her personally, woman stuff, he can't help her. He can't tell her. Let me call your granny. You know what I'm saying? Like, it matters, y'all. It absolutely matters. So,
well, we're gonna put a pin in this right now. Thank you guys for joining us.
I think we had a
great conversation.
Thank y'all so
continue this conversation sooner than later.
Yes.
Please go follow us on YouTube, Marriage is Real, in Instagram, Facebook, Marriage is Real page, etc., etc.
All of the places.
Thank y'all again, and we will see y'all next time.
Deuces and Trey.
Swap vomit track right here.